time to hit the pick.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
It's time to hit the pick.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hit the Pick. I'm Christian Giordani. Alongside of me, we have Loud Esmond, co-founder of HitThePick.com. And before the show started, we were having a very interesting conversation of some of the most important topics in the world. What's the best superhero movie?
Yeah, best superhero movie. As I was saying, I may not go see this new Superman movie because I don't want it to ruin for me Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is an underrated gem of a movie, and I just rewatched it today. I usually take Friday afternoons off because I have a crazy schedule, so I usually, to give myself some extra time to decompress, I usually cut off my day at about noon on Fridays, and I'll do something else. And so today I rewatched that movie, and it's still, there's scenes in that movie that affect me every time emotionally. It's like the scene where his father dies. You know, he could save him, but the tornado is coming, and the dad goes back for the dog, and he breaks his ankle, and Henry Cavill's character is just about to, show this whole crowd of people under this overpass. He's Superman and is going to go save dad. And Kevin Costner just puts his hand up, and shakes his head like, don't do it. And then seconds later, he's gone, right? And then that movie has one of the best lines ever. A good death is its own reward. When of course, one of the evil Zod characters says that to the colonel in the army, and the colonel in the army, he realizes that the only way they're going to be able to take out the spaceship of the bad guys, their Zod's forces, is to actually crash the plane into the, and he's of course flying the plane. So, he looks up at the bad guy and says, a good death is its own reward, which she had said to him earlier in the movie, and then crashes the plane into the spaceship. There's a lot of moments in that movie that are great. I mean, the opening sequence is fantastic, of the death of Krypton. Anyway, that's one of my top. And I see your dad, Rocky, just chimed in and said, yeah, I totally agree. Man of Steel, best Superman movie.
I love Man of Steel. I got a few bones to pick with it, but with this new Superman movie, it feels like you just got ripped out of a Justice League animated episode or Superman the Animated Series episode. It feels very comic booky, and I feel like that's what we've been missing from superhero movies in the past 5, 6, 7 years. So it was a breath of fresh air. I'm
gonna go absolutely the other way with you on that. I think the best of the X-Men movies is actually Logan. Logan is
I completely agree.
Logan was a fantastic movie.
My thing with Logan is it didn't even feel like a superhero movie. It felt like a Western that just happened to be Wolverine and X-Men and all this.
Yeah, no, and so, that's up there at the top of mine. And again, for the exact opposite reason, because it felt more real, right? As opposed to huge fantasy. The original Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie was great.
Yes.
Because it had a lot of great comedy, where these soldiers are asking him, did you really go 12 for 12 with the Maxim models last year? So good, and, it's just a really good, some great talky talk in that movie, some great lines. And the other thing I appreciated about it is the villains he was fighting were Middle Eastern terrorists. And that felt real, right? One of the tendencies of movies today is to try to come up with politically correct villains, right? Like in the Top Gun movie Maverick, you don't even know what country they're bombing, right? They never say. It's and they never put a face because they were afraid that they offend somebody. But I think the Iron Man, original Iron Man, the first one was really good, especially at the very end of the movie. He says, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
So good.
No, Iron Man, and it's the start of one of the most successful movie series ever.
Yeah, he was born to play that role.
Yeah.
The Christopher Nolan Batman movies, the Christian Bale Batman movies, all three of them are outstanding. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight with the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. Why he didn't win an Oscar is beyond me.
Him and Willem Dafoe do the two best depictions of a villain in any superhero movie, in my opinion.
Willem Dafoe
for the Green Goblin, and then we have
he was great as Green Goblin,
and we have Heath Ledger as Joker, who hands down the best Joker, better than Joaquin, better than everyone else. Yes,
fantastic. And then The Dark Knight was great. Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and as well in that movie, and then The Dark Knight Rises with Bane. He's one of my favorite actors. I love that guy. He was his new series was the mob series Mobland on Paramount. God, what is his name?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic actor. He was terrific as Bane. And then the Punisher television series. They've never made a good Punisher movie. The Punisher movies all suck. But the Disney TV series, the Punisher series, is fantastic. And they get something right in that series that they never get right in the movies, which is that character is a deeply unhappy, angry, PSD-riddled individual. He's nuts. He's not right in the head. And he also doesn't give an F. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that actor, who, by the way, I felt bad when that guy died at the end of season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Oh, God, yeah.
But what a gift that turned out to be for him and his career. What movies, what great things hasn't he been in? I mean, he's been in all kinds of great things. And then that Punisher series by Disney was just, it's fantastic. Daredevil, the first season, was really good. This last season of the reboot, Daredevil Born Again, is really good. And so, yeah, I mean, those would be in my, Logan, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, right up there at the very top for me. Iron Man and then the Punisher TV series would be what sort of the ones that I would. The Guardians of the Galaxy ones and the Justice Leagues and the ones where Aquaman I've got no use for. So you can swim like a fish. Who cares? Aquaman's a stupid character. But yeah, those would be my top. I mean, there's a lot that I don't like, but those would be the ones that I'd put at the top of my list.
Yes. Well,
all right. Should we talk about what the show is actually?
Yeah, we're third in the show. I don't think we even said the word football yet.
No. And or sports betting. And honestly, next week is the worst week for sports betting of the entire year. There's no baseball for 4 days. And then you get the All-Star game. And nobody's going to bet on an All-Star game unless you're just a total degenerate. And then besides, there's no baseball. I mean, there's like WNBA, but I mean,
the WNBA is over. They're
over. Right.
Fever just won the championship. Yeah.
Right. So the WNBA is over. That's how close I follow WNBA. Sorry. I see Caitlin Clark highlights on my phone. And that's how I follow the WNBA. So yeah, it's a terrible. It's a terrible week for sports. All right. Over unders is what I'm looking at right now in the NFL. And look, it's less than 3 weeks from the first preseason game.
Oh my God, is it really?
Yeah, July 31st. July 31st is the Hall of Fame game. Training camps open next week. So training camps open next week for all the teams. Veterans don't report till like the 19th or 20th, but rookies start reporting on the 16th. Varies from team to team. But, starting next week, it's going to be all football all the time for 6 months. And I can't wait. Now, 2 teams on the opposite end of the scheduling spectrum. And it's not just the opponents you face. It's when you face them and where you face them that also really matters in the NFL in terms of scheduling. And one team, predictably, that has absolutely been kissed right in the puckered crack by the NFL on their schedule is the Kansas City Chiefs. Shocker.
Of course.
Get this. Of the teams they play on the road, in other words, because let's face it, road games are harder than home games. And at Arrowhead, they have a decided home field advantage, especially late in the year, because it's cold, it's freezing, it's snowy, it's windy, and teams hate it. So here's who the Kansas City Chiefs play on the road. The Chargers, week 1. Now, keep in mind, they have to play the Chargers on the road at some point because they're in their division. They play the Giants on the road. They suck. They play the Jaguars on the road. They suck. They play the Browns on the road. They suck. They play the Titans on the road. They suck. They play the Raiders on the road. They suck. But, of course, they have to play the Raiders. And they play the Broncos on the road. But they're also in their division. There is one game they play on the road against a good, really high-quality team, and that's when they play the Bills. Other than that, when they play on the road, they're playing cupcakes. It's ridiculous. So, who do they play at home? The Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, the Commanders, and the Texans. And, of course, the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers. How different would their schedule look if they were playing at the Eagles, at the Ravens, at the Lions, at the Commanders?
Yeah, it would look like a cakewalk. I mean, it would look like a more difficult schedule for them, but this is a cakewalk going ahead next year. And I see right now Vegas Insider has them labeled at 11.5 wins. I'm taking that over very generously.
Interestingly, the over is plus 100. The under is minus 140, which means they want to penalize you for taking the under. I don't see, that doesn't make any sense to me, because I don't see how they don't. I've got them going 14-3. The only games I have them losing is I'm giving the Ravens a win just because, look, teams that are favored to win lose around 33% of the time. The Chiefs are favored in that game against the Ravens, but I'm going to give them an L there just because, looking at this, teams aren't going to win every game that they're favored in. It's just not going to happen. So give the Ravens a win there. And then I'm giving them a loss at the Bills. And then I've got to dig deep to find out where I had their other loss. Losing to the Bills. Oh, and I'm giving them a loss at the Broncos. Again, just because. But because they play all the good teams at home, they just have such a huge home field advantage. I just don't see it. I don't see how they're not going to win, over 11 and a half games. But then the insiders that set the odds are telling me something else because they've got them at minus 140 to the under, which, like I said, doesn't make any sense to me. But you know what I'm going to do? Does everybody on this show knows I hate the Chiefs? I hate them.
Yes.
I hate the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is overrated. He's got the benefit of playing with a lot of great players and one of the best coaching offensive minds in Andy Reid. And you know how I feel about quarterbacks in the NFL. Tom Brady went to the Cleveland Browns. We'd never heard of him. I would have been in the league 3 years and he'd be out. Anyway, now on the other end of the spectrum, oh boy, are the New York Giants in trouble. oh my. Their over-under number is 5.5. So here's the teams that they get in New York. Cowboys, Chargers, Eagles, 49ers, Packers, Commanders, Vikings. Those are the home teams. Okay, I mean those are the teams that they get to play at home. Vikings playoff team, Commanders playoff team, Packers playoff team, 49ers playoff team, Eagles playoff team, Chargers playoff team, Cowboys close to being a playoff team. Are the Giants anywhere close to being a playoff team?
No. And I'll put my comments on this over under later. Go on ahead, loud.
Okay. So now, they basically are totally screwed at home. They might beat the Vikings. But I don't see them beating the Cowboys, Chargers, Eagles, 49ers, Packers, Commanders, or Vikings. I don't see it.
They always split one with the Cowboys. I can give them one. But even then.
Russell Wilson is the quarterback. Russell Wilson was terrible.
What week are they playing the Cowboys?
Week 1.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, week 2.
Yeah. Wilson's going to get the start. This is my issue with the over-under number. And it's something I want to ask you a question.
Hang on, let me finish the road first.
Go ahead.
The road games, and then you can jump into it. Okay. So the teams they might compete with. So basically, all the teams that there's no chance that they're going to beat, they have to play them at home, and they're going to lose at home. Now they go on the road to play the following teams. The Saints, who, if the Saints were going to the Giants would be favored in that game. But, oh, no, they got to play them in New Orleans. The Bears, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Vikings. So any of those games, if they were being played in New York, I'd give the Giants a pretty decent chance of winning some of them. But since they're all being played on the road, I've got to kind of lean against the Giants. Even against New Orleans, who's going to have a really tough season, the Dome is not an easy place to play. So Saints, Bears, Patriots, Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, that's who they're playing on the road. And their home schedule is a murderer's row. Their over-under number is 5.5. I give them maybe 3 wins on the season. Maybe 3. And Jackson Dart will be playing. When is their bye? November 9, 16, 23, December 1, October 5, October 9. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in, they get their bye. In those 6 games, they play the Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, and Eagles. They could be 0-5 by week 5. And then they play the Saints. If they're 1-5 or 2-4 going into their bye week, do you think Russell Wilson plays again?
No, it's going to be dark for the rest of the season. Now, my only issue with this number on the over/under is we have a head coach, and a general manager on the last year of their contract, and we have a team that doesn't own their first round pick next year. That first round pick is going to Los Angeles. I understand they have a very tough schedule, but anything can happen on a given Sunday, and the number is 5.5. My only issue with it being it's 6 wins is right where the Giants sit at, in my opinion, where it gets them out of a really good draft pick. It screws them over, but they're competitive enough.
No, that's the Raiders' way. That's the way the Raiders do it. Okay, so let's just go through it. They're not beating the Eagles. They're not beating the Ravens. They're not beating the Lions. They're not beating the Commanders. They're not beating the Texans. They're not beating the Chargers. They're not beating the Broncos. Now, on the road, Jaguars. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Chiefs. Sorry. Let me go back to the Giants. Giants at home. They are not beating the Chargers, not beating the Eagles, not beating the 49ers, not beating the Packers, not beating the Commanders. So that's 5 losses. I'm not sure they can beat the Cowboys, and I think the Vikings will be pretty good. And the Vikings certainly have better talent than the Giants do. And then, so let's say they split with the Cowboys. So there's one win. They have to play the Bears on the road. I think the Bears are going to be a lot better. They have to play the Patriots on the road. The Patriots will be a lot better. The Raiders in Vegas, the Raiders will be better. Man, find the wins for me.
Yeah. You know, those away games, Saints I like. The Raiders, that's going to be a toss-up for them. You know, it's 2 young competitive quarterbacks. You know, and the rest is going to be a dogfight for them. But I don't like that number. This is a bet I would like to stay away from.
And let me point out, how many games do you think they are favored in?
Almost none.
1 against the Saints. And it's 1.5. So, I mean, the books have them going 16-1. And that's literally what they say, is the Giants are going to go 16-1. They're favored in 1 game. So I think, and again, if you look at how the schedules break down for those 2 teams, the Chiefs got an absolute gift from the NFL in the way that their schedule breaks down. And the Giants are just completely screwed in the way that their schedule breaks down. The very first game of the year is in the who's playing the Rio de Janeiro game? Is that Chiefs at Chargers?
Oh, that is. Yeah, Chiefs and Chargers.
Yeah, think about that for a weird start of the season.
Yeah.
You're playing a football game in Rio de Janeiro, which, by the way, is going to be hot, humid, and high altitude. So that's going to be very strange. And by the way, the players have been told not to wear any jewelry if they go outside, and to not make it clear that they're NFL players. Just like when they went to Mexico City. It's like, and I wonder about this. It's like, okay, if you have to tell your players things like that, you're basically saying don't leave the hotel. Why be playing a game there? I mean, it just seems crazy. But then again, players get mugged and shot, on the way to practice in San Francisco. So,
yeah, ain't no difference. Shout out Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah. Okay. The rest of the AFC West breaks down the following way for me. I've got the Chiefs going 13-4. That would put them in first place in the division. I have the Chargers and Denver Broncos both. No, I'm sorry. I have the Chargers 12-5. I have the Broncos with 11 wins, and the Raiders, I've got them under 6.5. Any quibble with any of that for any reason?
No, Chiefs are obviously the powerhouse that they are. Favoritism from the refs and all. You know, Chargers and Broncos are a very evenly matched team, in my opinion. I might give the edge to the Broncos just because of their defense. My only thing is you gave the Raiders only 5 wins.
I think I actually gave them 4.
Wow.
But I'm very confident in. Well, let's look at their schedule. They go to the Patriots. They suck back east, and they suck against the Patriots. Mike Vrabel is going to have that team ready to play game 1. So I don't like them there. Then the Chargers come the next week.
1 minute.
I don't like them against the Chargers. Then the Commanders. Then the Bears. Okay, so they're 0-4. Then they go beat the Colts. They're 1-4. They beat the Titans. They're 2-4. Oh, the fan base has decided we won 2 in a row. Guess what? Then you get the Chiefs. Then the Jaguars come to the Raiders. Oh, they get another win. And then they lose to the Broncos, lose to the Cowboys. They beat the Browns, lose to the Chargers, lose to the Broncos, lose to the Eagles, beat the Giants, lose to the Texans, and lose to the Chiefs. So I've got them at 3 or 4 wins. I just don't see a bunch of teams on that schedule that I see the Raiders being competitive with. So I've got the AFC West going Chiefs 13-4, Chargers 12-5, Broncos 11-6, Raiders 4-13.
That is Loud's AFC West. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Hit the Pick. Make sure to go hitthepick.com. Get all the best bets from our betting cappers. We'll see you guys next week.